Natasha wants to record what you're saying. Is that all right with you?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Would you like a cup of tea before you start?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm fine
Right.
too. Thank you very much, Beryl. Coming in here.
No.
Shall we begin at the beginning? When did you first start going to St Luke's?
Well, soon after I was confirmed, I'd been going there before that because I had one of the curates there, Mr Marshall, and he used to come home to me because I hadn't been well, and he said, I'm not going to let you lose your telling us what the confirmation replayed, because I had my communion in the Ladies' Chapel
At St Luke's.
at St Luke's because I had to go down to Carlshorton
Yeah.
there because I had rheumatic fever.
Where was the Lady Chapel?
It was on the right hand side.
Just as you came into the church.
No, it was that side. It had the altar there. You know the altar that's gone?
Yes.
It was there.
And did everybody go in through the west door?
Yes, they all used the front door. We didn't use anything else.
And what was it like when you got inside the church?
Well, we tried to keep warm in there because the heating was at the back of the church.
Oh
And
gosh.
people used to stand there to keep warm.
Oh gosh. Sounds difficult.
Was it one of those big turtle stoves?
It was underground.
Or was it?
And they had to have people down to stoke it up.
With coal?
Oh,
Yes.
And was it very dark or quite light inside the church when you went
It was light till they before the church closed, they just on that week, they put new lights in. Because they said it's time we had new lights.
That's unfortunate timing.
And that was not that week, we got the architect round. So he said, I'm afraid you've got to close the church. He said it's not safe.
that was just before Christmas, wasn't it?
It was Christmas Eve. We had to carry everything round to Darlington Street because we had nowhere else to go.
And did the architect, who did the architect tell? Did the architect stand up in the church and say, you've all got to go?
Well, he stood outside the church because he wouldn't let nobody in because he said it wasn't safe.
Who was the vicar then?
Huh?
Who was the vicar?
Rogers. He came in the June and he lost his church in the December.
So what did you take when you had to carry everything?
Well, we had to carry the Christmas tree round, the hymn books, everything.
Wow.
We was there for a little while and then the bishop said, well, I think you ought to go back to St Giles. He says, you was a breakaway from St Giles, so he said you'd have to go back there. And of course they took the organ to pieces, laid that in the West Aisle. That was there for ages before they got it going.
And were people very sad to leave St Luke's?
Oh yes, they was, because we had a lot of the old people then.
How big was the community at that time? Do you know how many people went to church with you at that time?
Well, there was quite a few, because I didn't go to the closing of the church, because I was working, and because I couldn't get time off from work.
What was your job at that time?
What
What were you working at, Mollie, at the time?
catering. I was working in catering. But, they said, well, I think now St Luke's should come back to St Giles.
Mm.
So we came back there 99, well, 90, there, that closed. So we went there, all the choir and all the things that was going on, the meetings and everything else, was all in St Giles.
And before that, where had the guides and the brownies met?
Hmm?
There were guides and brownies, weren't they?
Yeah, but they wasn't there. We didn't have, they wasn't working at the time,
Okay.
because we had to find a captain, and I knew who she was.
And then how many, was the church just open for services, St Luke's, or were many other things happening there too?
It was all in a mess, because we used to have to come, you know where the barber surgeon is?
Yeah, Monkball Square.
It's down there, there's a flight of stairs, and we used to have to come down those stairs and go in the west door.
But going back to St Luke's, what happened in St Luke's church during the week?
Well, they just closed it. They wouldn't let.
When
You had you were telling me the other day they used to have table tennis and that down.
Oh yeah, when the crypt was going, we used to play table tennis and all that down there. We had meetings down there, and at the back of the church, right at the back, it faced onto the police flat. They had to clear it because they did find some bodies.
Oh dear.
And who was playing table tennis? Was that the youth club?
Yeah, the youth club we had there, and they used to shut it. The youth club at what time was at night, about 9 o'clock for 10 minutes, and they had to have a prayer group.
But did the boys and the girls go down there?
Huh?
Did the boys and the girls go down there to play table tennis?
Yeah, the girls and boys, some of them won certificates.
And were you in the choir?
I was for a time, and then we had an organist. He got a bit funny. He got rid of a lot of them. And then we still had an organist, because he was a friend of Will's. And he played the organ there for a time. And then we had Sebastian Falls. And we had a nice little choir. And he didn't like the way the girls and boys were singing. So he sacked them.
Really?
And where did the choir stand in church?
Eh?
Where did you stand to sing?
In the lady chapel, in the high altar,
Yes.
because the pews were there. The little ones that you got in the back, they was there, and they sat there, and they all came from the Selwyn station, what is one of the restaurants there now, there.
Right.
And they stopped there. They come there, and he got rid of them. He just didn't like them.
And then there was no more choir.
Of course, 2 of them stopped in the choir. That was Will and Paul.
Tell us who Will is. That's your uncle.
No, Will, no, he's got his photo up there.
Will Knight. They lived in
That was
Coltest
taken
Court.
That was taken in St Luke's. Will and Arthur Paul, they both stopped. They wouldn't go. They said, no, why should we go and you don't like us? So they both stopped. And they stopped there right till Paul, well, he used to come from Edgware every Sunday, and he was mayor of Engdon. And then he died, and we all went to the funeral.
And did people from Whitecross Street go to St Luke's?
Some of them did, but some, like Ethel Cooper, and of course they still had in the church, still had a mother's meeting. Rogers used to take it. Then when we got the hall, he'd come back to St Hall and took the mother's meeting in there every Monday.
And what about the shops in Whitecross Street?
Well, there was mostly of them there, On the corner where we went today for our lunch, that was an oil shop.
That's the marketplace cafe opposite
And
Skilly.
then
Yeah.
next door to it was a grocer's. Then we had 2 butchers. And then there was a greengrocer's. And the pub was still there. And where Will lived, there was a baker's, a cafe, a pork butcher's, Miller's the baker's, and then coming along, I forget, it was west of the laundry, all along there.
And you had a sweet shop too, didn't you?
Huh?
A sweet shop? Where was the sweet
Oh,
shop?
the sweet shop was on the corner. And then
Banner Street.
we had on one corner, what did we have? Coming down Old Street, we had the pub, we had a little flower shop, we had a place where they mend shoes, a china shop, and there was like a ladies' shop that sold all ladies' underwear and that. And coming down, there was a fishmonger's, and there was a dairy there.
Didn't the guy from the fishmongers go to church?
Well, they stopped there for a long while and they went in Banner Street.
As
But
Quakers?
you know where the Banner, where the lawn and the cleaners is on the corner?
Yes.
The fish shop was round the corner.
Was there a garden at the church?
Hmm?
Was there a garden at the church? Or was the church right on the road?
No, it wasn't, because you still had that bit of green that goes from there now. You know, as you come through there, you could always go through the park.
Mm.
But
And
you,
then you used to see, because when they had weddings, on the right-hand side, the door facing Armanga Helmet Road was a vestry where they used to sign the register for there. They used to come out, you saw that photo I gave you, on that door, and they all took the photos there. And there was an old lady, don't matter when there was a wedding there, right opposite the church, she always come and sat on the wall, see the weddings.
Mm-hmm.
where did your grandmother sit?
Eh?
Where did your grandmother sit?
My grandmother sat at the back, in the main, where the vestry is, facing there, with a friend of hers, because they was the police flats behind on the church, and her and my grandmother, they used to sit there. They was both old. They both sat there, because I said to show Beryl the tree yesterday. It's still got the big lump on it.
What year was your grandmother born?
Well, she was 84 when she died, and she died the same time as the King Edward. The King died.
George VI.
Huh?
1954.
Yeah,
So she was.
No, 53.
yeah.
So
50, 52.
she was
Sorry,
born in
52.
the 1870s.
Yes.
And where was she born?
I don't know.
Okay. But she came into the area.
Well, she had to get out of... she come and stopped with my mum for a little while. Then she went back home, and they moved from where they was at St George, the George's pub, near where Frank was buried. He was buried one end, and I was buried the other end. And my granddad was a professional gardener, and he came back and he went in Snaresbrook Road, opposite the college there, and I used to go fishing there in the pond, because I had to stop with my grandma a lot, because I had a little sister. She was 2 years and 9 months when she died.
Oh, gosh.
she had meningitis. And of course my mum couldn't have me a lot. But my mum and dad used to take her into the hospital, and she always, and the last time she went, they said, we'll carry you in. She said, no, Daddy Tom's going to take me. And she died in the June, just before I would have been 5 in the October, and she died in the June.
What was your favourite memory of St Luke's Church?
Well, I think you all joined in everything. Because during the summer, after we had evensong, at 7 o'clock, we used to take we got a little organ, we took the organ, carried it out, went round all the little houses, and done a little service there each week. That was
People
nice.
came from the houses and stood round, did they?
Eh?
Did people come from the houses
Yes,
and
they come
stand
there and they
round?
joined in the singing. And of course we had a fellowship there on a Sunday. The ladies went over in the church hall next to where Rogers was living. And, well, it wasn't Rogers then, it was Brewer. And from there, we had the ladies on one side and the men the other side, once at 4 o'clock on a Sunday. But then once a month, we combined together.
Dangerous.
It was a nice little service.
Oh, okay. Were there many funerals?
Yes, there was a lot of funerals there.
Do you remember any in particular?
Well, my dad was buried there, and I think my mum was about the last of the funerals there.
Was she?
Well, she died in 1997, 97, because she was 63 when she died. But I never knew how old my dad was when he died. I can't find any records.
And were they buried in the churchyard?
No. Dad was buried at Ilford, City of London. And then my mum died, well, the undertaker, it was Pierce's then, wanted her to go to Hamley Park, and I said no. I said, she can't go the same side as him, because you had to pay for the grave then, in those days. So I said, she'll go the other side of the road, Manor Park, which she did.
And was St Luke still used for burying bodies?
No, it wasn't. If there was burials, they came down to St Giles.
And did everyone, when the church moved, did everyone go to St Giles, or did anyone stop coming?
Well, they did. There was quite a lot of them still come, because gradually there was a lady, she was a church warden at St Mary's. And she used to come. Ethel used to come. There was another lady who came out of Wenlake. There was Miss Taylor, she was a treasurer. There was John Palser and his family. And there was the Brownies and Guys, all in St Luke's.
And what did it feel like when you moved? Were you happy to
Well,
be
it
there?
seemed sad that the church had to close. It had gone all through the war. It hadn't been bombed, but it had been built on wooden piles, and the wooden pile sunk.
Where was the closest bomb?
There was one in Amos House. That was the Sunday, the weekend of the annual bombing. and the Blitz. That was there, because a lot of our fellowship girls and boys lived there, and of course they died. And then on the Sunday, we'd been to church and I'd got a rotten cold, so my mum said, well, I think you better lay on the bed. Well, the alarm went and we had the sentries through the roof. We called down to Delarue's that was there, big printers. Could they come and help? So they said, no, we can't. We got bombs ourselves. And there was a pub on the corner, the Artillery Arms, and they had a beautiful cat there, about as big as that. And we never found him, but we think what happened was he was wandering around, and of course we had firemen from all over the place, and we think that the fireman picked him up and took him.
Because you put out sandbags in Bunhill Road, didn't you?
Yeah, well, all along there we put the sandbags up there on the Sunday morning before the war was declared. Because that was all where Braithwaite is, that was all Delarue's. They was there, and there was a corner where, not where Prime Wester is, where Moorfields was. That was all the big printers.
Where were you living at the time? Where were you living?
Well, I was in B block, right up the top. We'd been down, a man had made the dust holes where we could go. It was nice and comfortable, and we all went there. Of course, when the all clear went, he said, well, I think you better come up there. And he said, the all clear's gone. And of course, the firemen come in and they said, well, I'm afraid you've got to come out, because there was a block opposite us. That had caught a light. So they took us up Bunhill Road, down the tube station, and from there they said to the people lying on the ground, I'm afraid you've got to get up because these people have come out burning buildings. So from there, we went there, we tried to get home, but we couldn't get home, they wouldn't let us home. Eventually we got home and we had a cat, and they said, have you got somewhere to go? My mum said, well, I've got my brother at Romford. So they said, well, you'll have to go there. So we had to take the cat up the cat's home, because we couldn't take him anywhere. And we went up there and we went all over the houses to get to Liverpool Street Station.
And did you see St Giles burn? Did you see St Giles when it was burning?
Well, we didn't think much of it at that time, because that all went up, you see, and poor old Milton was lying in the pavement. And they said to him, get up, man. They thought he was an old beggar, because Will was in the fire service. And they thought he was an old beggar lying there, and he got hit. But poor Milton, look, you can see he's got a new hand on one of them.
And did you go down, you went down with your parents, didn't you, to see the fires?
No, we had to go across the houses to get to Liverpool Street Station, and we stopped there 3 months. And we wasn't happy there, because she had 2 of her own relations there. So my mum said, well, we'll go and see if we can find anywhere. Well, where Gladys is, on there, half of that went. And then they said, well, we could go there. We was there 3 months, and from there, they said, oh, you'll have to, what you lost?
No, it's all right.
You can move. So they give us horse and car, and we moved from there, and we was there till my gran come to live with us, and she played us up. And on the night time there was flying bombs. My mum and my gran, they sat on the wall. I'd got a cat in the basket, and I'd had a bad ear. So they said to me, "You'll have to go to the hospital." I said, "I ain't going to the hospital." So they took us up Compton School. We went there, I took the cat there. My friends, they was in the police, opposite the church at the back. So she said, "Well, you leave him here while you go to the hospital." And they sent us out on the Monday, because when we was going to move, the man wouldn't move us, because we was at the top, and we told him we got a piano. Oh, he said, "I'm not going to move you." So he didn't move us, and I had a doll spray, and he'd laugh. Somebody said to me, "What are you doing?" I took some of the furniture round on the doll spray.
But meanwhile, Sunday after Sunday, everybody was going to church.
Well, I went to church at Romford, the Good Shepherds, because one of the priests has got the name on the board there. And I went there, so I said to Mum, "I wish we could go somewhere." Well, we went back there, and then we decided we'd go home. Got this car and took all the furniture we could. And we thought the piano was going, but the piano went.
And were there people in uniform in the congregation at St Luke's?
Eh?
Men and women in uniform?
Well, they did have a bit of a uniform, but it wasn't much.
I mean in terms of people who were serving in the Navy or the Army or the Air Force. Did you see them come back?
So we saw some of them come back.
And was there a special service at the end when peace was declared in 1945?
Yes, because it was still Brewer, and he rung the church bells, and everybody went in there. There was a crowd in there then.
Did they often ring the church bells?
Well, they didn't use them during the war, but they did do it after the war. When they declared peace was on, they rung the bells. And of course then he went, where did he? Oh, he went into a church. He was teaching at a church army place.
Did you have a party after the war in the
I
street?
don't remember. No, because there was nowhere really could. All of it was down there. There was a lot of it bombed round Radnor Street there and all.
And when was the first time you went down to the Barbican after the bombs?
I think it was when we was moving, because we'd been to Romford for 3 months, and we wanted to come back to a church. So we come back there. We had nowhere else to go.
Because you know the Pearly King, John, he remembers playing round St Giles in the bomb sites.
Who's that?
John, the Pearly King, who was there.
Oh, yes. Yeah, when he was christened at St Luke's by Oldacre. Because I said to him, "Do you know the fonts here?" He said, "No." Oh, he said, "I'll have to go and have a look." I said, "Well, it's there."
And how did you go? What was the route between St Luke's and St Giles?
Well, the services went on in St Giles, because the bishop, well, we had a priest, but he didn't do anything. It was Turner. Rogers took the service, but he didn't do anything. And then in the end they decided, he was 90 odd, they said, "I think it's time you retired on full stipend." So with that, because Rogers was only assistant priest, because he came in the June, and the church closed in the December.
And was St Giles cold? Did they have any heating when it was first
They
opened?
did, I didn't go in there when I worked round that way. We went in there for one service. What was it? Not more service. One of the services what they had for thank people and that in there.
And was it cold?
I don't remember.
What did St Giles look like before they had the organ, or do you remember it when they still had the board over the east window before the window was put in place?
I remember who took it down. John Poulter and Will.
They took down the boards.
They took that. They said, well, the war's over now. Let's see what we can find. And of course, when they opened it up, they found the window. Because we was going to have another window there. You know where the organ is now? There's a big space facing your rectory. That bit there. A big man said, he said, I don't like that there. He said, I'll pay for it to be put up. So Roger said, all right, I'll put it in to St Paul's. So they said to him, have you got the money for it? He said, no. So they said, no, it's not got to be done. And because it stopped like that. Yeah, I remember them saying they took it down.
Did you move the table tennis table? Did you move the table tennis table from St Luke's?
No, well, they was down the wreck. I don't know what happened to them, because we had a memorial service it's only just recently David's found somebody that owns it. Last year sometime, wasn't it? The one on the wall by the crypt door, on the wall there, you can see where it's been. A memorial service of the First World War.
Oh, the memorial list. Yes, yeah. Well, there was a list of some of the soldiers who'd been killed in the First World War.
Yes, right. Well, some of our fellowship boys went. There was been into there. That one had only, he was in the Air Force, I think. He'd only done his first jump. He didn't come back, and one of them, we never found out what happened to him. He went out to Japan, and we never found out there.
There was a lot of sadness at times, wasn't there?
Oh, there was.
And what were the happiest occasions? The weddings?
Well, I think when they tried to have weddings, because they couldn't have weddings there, they had to have it in St Giles. I think it was, I think they went round to, because Pear Tree Street went. It was the corner on Pear Tree Street, that went.
It sounds like a lot of your friends were from the church. Did you have a lot of friends
Well,
at the church?
I think it was a bit offish at that time, but now we've had different rectors, including yourself. We had Rogers, then we had David, and then we got you. We've had 3.
What do you mean about bit offish? Natasha said, did you have friends through the church?
Well, I think they had to take it through St Paul's. I think they said that St Luke's had broken away from St Giles at one time. So they said, well, I think St Luke's ought to come back to St Giles. And that was what they said. So we came back.
And Mollie, if you really wanted to, how many days a week could you go to St Luke's? Was the fellowship on Sundays?
We used to have it at 4 o'clock.
On Sundays?
On Sunday, after, about 4 o'clock.
Sunday was a long day.
Yes.
Because you had, was there an 8 o'clock?
We had 8 o'clock,
Matins.
11 o'clock,
Yeah.
and then we had that, and then we had evensong.
So you had 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And what about Monday? What happened on Mondays?
Well, they used to have the mothers' meeting.
That was Monday. What about Tuesday? What was on Tuesdays?
Well, I think we must have had the brownies and all the guides in there.
And Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays?
I can't remember what they...
When did you do the cubs?
I did the cubs, yeah. I did that with Sister Shields. We started off in the rectory, and it wasn't big enough, so we went up the top of St Luke's School. And then when she left, she went down to Canterbury. I was only assistant cub. And the kiddie said to me, "Why don't you take it over?" I said, "I can't." They said, "Yes, you can." So I was going to take, well, I was waiting to, I was in my uniform, and it was when I was in J Block, and I was there, went in, I'd done the magazine, like I might do now, put my watch on the side, left it there, come back, the poor bushy cat was inside, the money had gone from the magazine, my watch had gone, somebody had been in my place and robbed me. So somebody that was over Golden Lane Estate said, "Well, you go off." I had to go up to, where was it, Exmouth Street, Holy Redeemer, to see if they'd accept me. And they said they would, so I was there till I wasn't well, and then they had another, the head one doing the cubs, and she wasn't very good with them. Because I always said, if the cubs couldn't do what they, well, I had Charlie Cooper, and he was a big fella, and they had to do jumping over. So I said, "Well, do what you can, and if you can't do it, take what you're supposed to do." And they did it. But I wasn't well, and then it seemed to drop off. And then gradually it's all dropped off now.
Is Charlie Cooper still round here?
He was in the cubs.
And did he grow up? Did he stay in the area?
Eh?
Where is he now?
Well, he went up north.
Are there any people around you still see who used to be cubs?
I don't see him now, because he was confirmed in St Luke's. Before it was before it was bombed, I think. Or it might have been St Giles, I don't know. But I think he went up north somewhere, we went on one of David's walks, and he was up that way.
But we met a lady the other day in the doctors.
Aye.
We met a lady in the doctors the other day who was in the Sunday school when you ran the Sunday school.
I know she was. That was Leslie, comes out of Golden Lane Estate. Her mum comes sometimes.
So you ran the Sunday school as well?
Oh yes, I run the Fat Sunday School for 45 years.
Wow. The church is an important part of your life, it sounds like.
And if I had one little girl there, she was adopted. She was a little terror, Vivian Ford. And she used to play up. So I said, "Well, you go in the back there and you stop there till we go home, and then I'll take you home." Well, she was all right afterwards, and then I had Anne Ewers. She used to start kicking and that. I said, "Right, Anne, you don't come no more until you behave yourself."
And you were doing Sunday school at St Luke's?
No, I had it in the hall.
Okay.
in the church hall.
St Giles?
No,
St Luke's?
here,
Okay,
in the hut.
yeah, okay. In the hut, yeah.
Then we had to, they wanted to build another hall there, that was right, and Islington was on strike for a year. So they said, we'll have to, you'll have to build it up. So I had to take the kiddies down Sunday morning, all the way down to St Luke's at Giles, and bring them all back, had them down the bottom there. And then they said, we think we can go forward to there. We had the hole that came out of Bow Bells.
Yes.
We had it here, up here. And then we had quite a lot in there, because Michael Anderson's wife, she was very good with the kids. She used to do baking, she used to do sewing with them, and they enjoyed it.
And by the time you arrived at St Luke's, you were too old for Sunday school, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, I gave it up after sewing.
But when you were 14, you arrived at St Luke's. Was there a Sunday school meeting in the church?
It wasn't in the church, it was over in the hall. There was a hall.
And did you see the children in the services, or was it separate?
Oh yes, I used to come to services, like we had the Harvest Festival on a Sunday.
Where did the children sit?
In the front row, and they used to bring their gifts up.
And there was a gallery in St Luke's?
Yes, right.
Who sat in the gallery?
Nobody really, unless we got a very big service.
And what did it feel like going up into the gallery?
I don't remember ever going up there.
You didn't. Any other memories, Mollie?
Eh?
Any other memories or stories?
No.
Are you happy to see it now, full of music and children?
Yes, I am.
Do you go inside ever into St.
I
Luke's?
like it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know what St Luke's was going to be. It was going to have the Leisha Mission at first. That fell through. Something else fell through. And then was the LSO took it, which has been a good thing. Because we started to have singing in this hall here for the kiddies themselves, and they had to sing it. They was here when you first started, wasn't they?
They were, yes.
We used to have it, they used to practice, and then they come Sunday mornings and do their singing.
It's very interesting to hear all of your memories about it. It's quite. I've seen the photographs, and it's quite different now
Yes.
from how it was then.
Oh yeah, because the vestry was at the back, not the back, on the steps round the back there, facing into Armanga.
Really?
Yeah, well the vestry, they used to go in there and sign the register.
Yes,
That was on the left hand side,
yes,
and then when they came out, that photo I showed you,
yes.
they stood on that bit there and took the photos.
And everybody around came to watch?
Yes.
It sounds like there was a real sense of community.
Well, I think it did have a lovely community till it come down St Giles. Barely the Barbican was really started at those days.
So there were very few people, were there?
Because Eric Archer came down and John Poulter.
But did it feel like there were fewer people at St Giles than there
Well, I
were?
think now they've talked to it now. Because I keep asking what's happened to Audrey Bellard, but Celia said that he's very, very ill, but she does go for a little walk round the podium. I see. There's hardly anybody, well, there's nobody left even St Giles that I know when they first come.
I know, you're living history, Mollie.
Well, I'll be 94 next month.
No, you'll be 95 next month.
95?
Yeah, come on. Yeah. And we're going to celebrate it, aren't
Yeah.
we, Mollie?
Yeah. I've got all the bits there.
You have. Okay.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us. It's really interesting hearing your memories. Are you going to come for the...
Yes.
On the 26th.
Yes, I'm coming.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
It's tea and a tour at 4:30.
And someone will, one of the members of the orchestra is going to play as well. Their recording session isn't on anymore, so...
So you want Mollie there by about, what, 4:15 or 4:30? 4:30.
4:30, I think, please.
Then I'll come down Walker Street.
Yes.
Yes.
But I don't walk there.
I know you come in your chariot,
Yeah.
Mollie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope it doesn't rain.
Everybody's saying, I keep getting marks about last Wednesday.
The bishop spoke very warmly about Mollie in his sermon and talked about her stickability.
Quite right. Quite right.
Everybody keeps saying, how well I read.
Thank you, Mollie.
Thank you very much. We'll
Well,
see
you've
you
been
then. I'll
with
see
us.
you then.
You've been nearly 16 years.
That's it.
Yeah.
Next month. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Are those notes for Natasha?
Yes.
Just.